Money basics. Most adults never learn. Most adults walk through life quietly, believing they are bad with money. They don't always say it out loud, but you hear it in their tone. You see it in their hesitation when conversations turn toward finances. They assume there is some hidden intelligence or secret knowledge they never received, some invisible rulebook everyone else understands except them. So they label themselves careless, unlucky, or simply incapable of managing money well. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Most people are not bad with money. They were just never taught the basics that actually matter in real life. Not the complicated formulas taught in textbooks, not the unrealistic stories about overnight wealth, not the endless stream of confusing advice that makes finance sound like a game only experts can play. The real basics are quieter than that. They are practical, emotional, and deeply human. Money is not just numbers. Money is behavior. Money is psychology. Money is survival disguised as spreadsheets. And when you begin to understand this, everything changes. Think about how most people learn about money. There is rarely a clear starting point. No one sits them down and explains how financial stress influences decision-making or how emotions shape spending habits. Instead, people learn through pressure. They learn through late fees, unexpected bills, stressful conversations, and moments where the numbers suddenly stop working. Over time, these experiences create patterns. Some people become overly cautious, avoiding opportunities because they fear loss. Others swing in the opposite direction, chasing quick wins and hoping for dramatic change. Both reactions come from the same root problem: a lack of clear foundational understanding. One of the biggest misconceptions about money is that income equals stability. Many people assume that earning more automatically solves financial stress, yet countless individuals with strong salaries still feel trapped. They earn well, but their expenses grow just as fast. Their lifestyle expands quietly until their financial flexibility disappears. Stability does not come from income alone. Stability comes from how money flows through your life. This brings us to the first principle most adults never truly understand: cash flow. Cash flow is the simple relationship between money entering your life and money leaving it. If more goes out than comes in, nothing else works. Not investing strategies, not side hustles, not budgeting apps. Everything begins here. Yet people often ignore this basic truth because they focus on income rather than flow. When you shift your attention toward flow, you begin to see patterns. You notice where money quietly leaks away. You recognize which expenses bring real value and which ones exist only out of habit. Awareness alone begins to change behavior because it removes the illusion that money problems are mysterious. The second principle is margin. Margin is breathing room. It is the space between your obligations and your capacity. When you have margin, unexpected events do not feel like disasters. They feel manageable. Without margin, even small disruptions feel overwhelming. Margin transforms financial emergencies into inconveniences rather than crises. Most people live without margin because they believe comfort comes from consumption. They fill every financial gap with new commitments, new subscriptions, new payments. Over time, flexibility disappears, and when flexibility disappears, stress increases. Debt plays a major role here. Debt is not just money you owe. Debt is future income already assigned to past decisions. Every recurring payment represents time and energy you have not yet lived. Debt is not automatically bad, but it must always be intentional. If debt expands your opportunities or increases your ability to grow, it can serve as a tool. If it reduces your freedom or forces constant pressure, it becomes a weight that limits your choices. Another concept people overlook is time. Time is the most powerful force in finance, yet it is also the least dramatic. Money grows slowly at first, almost invisibly. Consistency feels boring compared to dramatic success stories, but slow growth is reliable growth. When money has time to compound, small actions accumulate into meaningful change. Trying to move too quickly often leads to emotional decisions that disrupt progress. Investing becomes easier to understand once you remove the myth that it requires constant prediction. Investing is not about guessing perfectly. It is about staying consistent long enough for growth to unfold. People often lose not because markets fail, but because emotions interrupt their strategy. Fear pushes them out too early. Greed pulls them into risky decisions too late. Risk itself is widely misunderstood. Risk is not only about market volatility. Real risk is being unprepared. Real risk is lacking savings, flexibility, or backup plans. Chasing high returns without a stable foundation creates vulnerability rather than security. Here is a definition of wealth that shifts perspective entirely. Wealth is not measured by income or possessions. Wealth is measured by time. Specifically, how long you could sustain your life without your next paycheck. That number reveals more about your financial reality than any salary ever could, because it reflects independence rather than appearance. Spending behavior also deserves honest attention. People rarely spend money purely for logical reasons. Spending is emotional. People buy to relieve stress, reward effort, maintain identity, or feel connected to others. Until you understand the emotional drivers behind spending, financial plans often fail because they ignore human nature. Automation becomes powerful because it removes reliance on motivation. Automatic systems allow good decisions to continue even when energy fades. Motivation is temporary. Systems are consistent. The best financial habits reduce the number of decisions required each day. Surprisingly, the most effective financial strategies often feel boring. They do not create constant excitement. They do not rely on perfect timing. They operate quietly in the background while life continues. Complexity may look impressive, but simplicity survives stress. The biggest mindset shift most adults need is to stop asking how to make money faster and start asking how to make life more stable. Stability reduces panic. Reduced panic improves decision-making. Better decisions compound into long-term progress. Financial understanding does not require expertise. It requires clarity around the principles that shape daily behavior: cash flow, margin, time, risk, and emotional awareness. When these elements align, money stops feeling overwhelming and begins to feel manageable. Clarity always beats complexity. Once you see these basics clearly, you begin to notice subtle changes. You stop reacting emotionally to every financial challenge. You become more intentional about choices. You recognize that progress does not come from dramatic moments, but from consistent alignment with simple principles. And perhaps the most powerful realization is this: financial confidence does not come from perfection. It comes from understanding. When you understand how money behaves, you stop feeling controlled by it. You stop chasing quick solutions. You start building stability step by step. And slowly, almost without noticing, stress begins to fade. Decisions feel lighter. Opportunities feel clearer. Money transforms from a source of confusion into a tool that supports your life rather than controlling it. If this helped you see money more clearly, subscribe and watch the next video. And if you're serious about getting results, click the link below and get yours now.